Growing up in Gainesville was really wonderful. My father was the Episcopal minister here in Gainesville, and at the time, it was, you know, the early 60s, so there was a lot of unrest, but there was a simplicity about Gainesville as well. And I stayed through college, went to elementary school, middle school, high school, college here.
I was born in Sarasota. I'm a native Floridian, but as a maybe a 2-year-old, I moved to Gainesville, and I also was here in the early '60s when it was a very tumultuous time in Gainesville, but a great place to grow up. I loved growing up here.
Well, I started working at the Hippodrome when I was 18, and I was on the young end of the people that were involved. So it was a quick education into worldly matters. And that really began my artistic journey. I was very fortunate to be in the company of strong artists with a lot of drive and a lot of vision. And as a young teenager, that made an impact on me. I worked at the Hippodrome until now. So it had an integral, I mean, this is home. This is what feels like home to be on the stage. I give thanks for the audience and for the support that they have given the Hippodrome as a cultural institution.
Came to University of Florida, I was interested in architecture and had an art background, and I really didn't know what to do, but I did have a friend who was a technician backstage at Constance Theatre and said, listen, I was looking for something to do, and he said, why don't you come backstage and scene paint? And I said, that sounds great. So I went backstage, started scene painting. They're always looking for somebody to pick up a brush. And Dennis Malden, a wonderful scene designer at the time, was there and taught me a lot. And I spent that summer painting backstage at Constance Theatre and watching plays. I had never auditioned for a play. I had never been in a play. But I was standing in the wings running shows and pulling ropes and said, I would rather be out there. That's how it started. And I started auditioning and ended up getting a degree at UF. But Les Liaisons Dangereuses.
Oui.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's Madame Meurtri, I guess you would say in French, and Valmont. It's a story that we, you know, if you watch films, it's been done a few times in film, but it's a wonderful play, and Nell and I, well, there's a picture of it here. Somewhere, I believe. They've got a, well, actually, it's not of Nell and I. These are the handsome young actors that were in it, and they actually said, if you can't get us these actors, get us someone like them. And so that's when they contacted Nell and I for this play, Sirens.
Right.
But this was us.
I don't think we should show the comparison quite so closely.
Yeah, that was my original hair.
Yeah. I had 2 children. I was working another job. And I had, you know, a baby on the hip and one on my leg, and did the show and had another job. So I can remember at one point I was backstage getting ready to go on stage, and I thought, you know, I can either just go to sleep now and sleep for 3 days, or I can go on and do the show. And I chose to do the show. And Michael reminded me of a time that we did the scene, and when the scene was over, I said, Michael, you okay? You were white out there. And he had...
Well, I blanked it. I actually thought I had walked into a different scene, and I didn't. But at the moment, I thought I had stepped into a different scene, and I was spouting off lines from another scene, and I pretty much almost passed out.
And I wasn't much help.
Yeah, and you know, the blood kind of rushed out of my face.
Yeah.
But
it was a great experience.
it was
wonderful.
caught up.
It was good. The Hippodrome is integral. We come from a long line of orators. That is what we do. And communication right now is even more important than it has ever been. And this is what we do. We tell stories. We're human beings. Everyone has a story. And this is an art form that chisels a story down and involves so much, so many different disciplines. It's a wonderful piece of the community, and I am very grateful to be a part of it.
And I think people really clamor to have that experience in front of real life people. acting and telling a story. So theater is just the best. But you ask any actor who does it for a living, and there are those who work in film and television, and that's great, and that is wonderful, and I've done all of that. But when I don't get a chance to do theater, I'm at a great loss, and I think any actor will tell you that that is what keeps us going, is theater.